Good evening, everyone. This is Daniel. Um, Today, I'm gonna talk about Israel in light of what just happened in Middle East. I'm not into politics, and this is not about politics. Just simply to unreveal what Quran says about Israel, just a little bit, so we can all learn what actually Allah says about Israel. With all the conflicts between Palestine and Israel regarding Jerusalem, it seems most Muslims proudly stand for Palestine and curse Israel. Recently, United Arab Emirates made peace with Israel and opened a diplomatic relationship between the two. Iran and Palestine condemn UAE, a traitor to the Muslim world. Muslims often mention or refer to the Israelis as children of Israel. Most Muslim most Muslims don't know who they are or who it is Israel. In Quran we can read references of the two kinds of children. One is children of Adam, as mentioned in Surah 17, verse 70, for example. It says, "And we have certainly honored the children of Adam and carried them on the land and the sea and provided for them of the good things and preferred them over much of what we have created with preference." And chapter 17, it's called Al-Isra. Israel. Al-Isra. What does Israel mean? El means God, generic word. And from Bible we know that Jacob wrestled with an angel and won. Then his name was changed to Israel, which meaning can be found in Genesis 32, verse 28. The man said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob. You have wrestled with God and with men, and you have won. That's why your name will be Israel." Israel means he who wrestled with angel or God. The meaning cannot be found in Quran because we all know Quran is just a summary book that summarizes Bible and other sources. And I am being generous calling Quran that. Actually, a Nigerian Muslim I debated once, or well, many times, called Quran just summary in order to justify why so many stories are not completed. After a while, he realized Quran is not complete as it claimed to be. Little David, who then became the king of Israel, who built Jerusalem, killed Goliath or Jalut roughly 3,000 years ago. With a slingshot and a rock, little Dawood killed Jalut. And today, the funniest thing, you can see on TV many Palestinians they try to copy little Dawood, the king of Israel, by throwing rocks at Israeli police or army soldiers. And they are against the Jewish state. They are fighting to have control over Jerusalem and kick Jews out of Jerusalem. They do not realize that they are against Allah by doing so. People or Muslims who support Palestine, they are in other words against Quran and Allah. Let us read Surah Al-Ma'idah chapter Quran chapter 5, verse 20 to 21. And when Moses said to his people, O my people, remember the favor of Allah upon you when he appointed among you prophets and made you possessors and gave you that which he had not given anyone among the worlds. Verse 21. O my people, enter the Holy Land, which Allah has assigned to you, and do not turn your back and become losers. From these two verses, it's very clear Allah had given Jerusalem to Israelis. It mentioned Holy Land, and we do not, even it doesn't say what city, we all know it's Jerusalem. In Islam, there are three Holy Lands: Makkah, Medina, and Jerusalem. And this verse is talking about Jerusalem. Throughout history, there was never an area called West Bank. There was Jordan. There was Gaza even. There was Canaan, Jerusalem, Bethlehem, but not West Bank. Surah 5, verse 20 to 21 actually parallel to the story we found in 2 Samuel 5, verse 6 to 10, when King David captured Jerusalem from Jebusites. The victory was from God. Please remember, after 400 years of slavery, Jews were uprooted from their homes and taken to Egypt until Moses sent by God to set them free. In modern time, we had seen them went back to their land after the Holocaust. We can see, we remember the war in 1948, 1967, and 1973. All ended with the victory of the Jews. Muslims will have excuse that the Jews had their weapons supplied by the West. Well, actually the Arabs too. And the Arabs also, not only the West, but also from Russia or Soviet Union at the time. No matter how good the weapon is, if the person has no skill, the weapon is useless. So one more time, I have to say this: Muslims who are opposing the state of Israel and supporting the Palestine are actually against Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 20 to 21. Therefore, against Allah. Who can win against people chosen by Allah? Surah 2 verse 47. It says, O children of Israel, remember my favor that I have bestowed upon you, that I preferred you over the worlds. Allah preferred Jews over the world. And Surah 2, verse 122, saying the same thing. Well, this is another example actually how Quran repeats the same verse over and over again. Maybe the writer had Alzheimer. Anyway, in conclusion, Jews are chosen people by Allah, and Jerusalem was given to the Jews. And this topic is to provoke reading and thinking. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening. God bless you all.